Godagama Parawa Kumbuka section of the Southern Expressway wested with the public. Dry weather continues to affect a number of districts. Over 15,000 people affected. 124 schools upgraded to the status of national schools. How are the investigations into the Airbus scandal being conducted?
මේක අර්ලියගා මන්දිරේ ඉඳලා ලිපිගොනු අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඒ සියලු දේවල් වලට විනිවිද භාවයක් තියෙනවා.
කණ්ඩායම් දෙකම එකම හොරකම දෙකට බෙදාගෙන කරලා තියෙනවා. දැන් කවුද මේගොල්ලෝ? මේගොල්ලෝ ජනතාවගේ නියුතු නෙවෙයි මංකොල්ලකාරයන්ගේ නියෝජිත.
Coronavirus affects South Korea. 100 towns in Italy under lockdown.
While various factions are expressing views regarding the Airbus refleet deal, discussions have arisen as to whether the investigations pertaining to this particular deal are taking place independently and in a transparent manner. State Minister Lakshman Abewardena had this to say regarding this.
එයාබස් ගනුදෙනුවක් විධිමත් පරීක්ෂා.
A transparent investigation can be carried out into the Airbus deal. The government is conducting a probe and will not make interventions concerning the suspects who are found guilty. Now it is visible that we are conducting these investigations. We will not exert influence on the police or any other institution. We will not engage in unlawful communications from temple trees. These investigations have transparency in them. Accordingly, the innocent and the guilty will be identified in the future. The government will act according to that.
ආරෝ කවුද කියලා පෙයි ඒක අනුව ක්‍රියා කරනවා.
While State Minister Lakshman Abewardena had that to say, parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksa had a different opinion. Let's have a listen.
An investigation must be carried out into this. I saw media reports stating that my name had surfaced during judicial proceedings. I will obtain legal advice on the reasons as to why my name had come up. I feel that the real culprits are trying to hide from the crime by blaming the Rajapaksas for it. We wish to ask the CID and the police to conduct an investigation into this, instead of falsely blaming anyone like they blamed Namal for all the hotels, helicopters and the Lamborghinis owned before 2015. A transparent investigation must be carried out into this case. Definite conclusions must be arrived through these investigations. If anyone is trying to blame Namal Rajapaksa to achieve their political ambitions and to realize the aims of certain political parties, I feel that is unfair and that is an attempt to sweep the investigations under the carpet. Therefore, I wish to request the officials to conduct a transparent investigation and to act in a manner which would safeguard their dignity instead of concealing the true suspects and shifting the blame onto someone else. An agreement becomes valid only once it is attested by a lawyer. This agreement has not been attested by Sri Lanka's Attorney General. The cabinet has not approved this. The director board convenes a meeting at the speaker's residence and makes a decision which is equal in magnitude to selling the country. It was not to allocate a private property. When it was revealed in Parliament as to why an agreement was signed to purchase aircrafts hurriedly within a month, it was said that it was not the United National Party. In 2018, based on the Auditor General's report comprising of 768 pages, I revealed that this was a fake document. The UNP acted carelessly because they knew the loopholes in this agreement. They signed an agreement to cancel the purchase of the aircraft. What did Mahinda Rajapaksa's government do? They signed the purchase agreement. What did Ranil's government do? They signed the cancellation agreement. The compensation paid to cancel the deal alone was $115.7 million US. Sunil Andunetti issued a directive in COPE to investigate previous deals as well. Mahinda Rajapaksa was the finance minister at that time. The governor of the central bank was Ajit Niwad Cabral. The chief executive officer at the company owned by Arjun Aloysius was Cabral's sister. Cabral's brothers-in-law were in 3 other financial companies. Then we have Ranil Mahindran and Aloysius. The son-in-law of Ranil's friend Arjuna Mahindran is Aloysius. Here we have Mahinda's friend Cabral's sister, who is the CEO of Perpetual Treasuries Limited. The total loss is 10.4 million. Out of this, 1.9 million belong to the Employees Provident Fund. This is what they have done. Can these individuals who loot public resources build the country? They cannot do so. Tell us who were the individuals behind the Airbus scandal and the bond scam.
ආලෝකේ කවුද කියලා කියන්න.
A transparent investigation is being carried out into this case. We hope to punish the perpetrators of this crime. We do not hope to set up new courts and police units. We do not hope to punish our political rivals by bringing new laws and imprisoning them. What did they say when Ranjan Ramanayaka was remanded? They said it was political revenge. However, it has now been proven that it is not the case. Therefore, this has to be done with transparency. Otherwise, we will be accused of committing acts of political revenge if our rivals are imprisoned. Now, according to Nimal Pereira's statement, this money has been debited to other accounts. To whose account was this money debited? Who shared this money? Recently, his birthday celebrations were held quite publicly. His closest friends attended the party. Among the guests was Namal Rajapaksa. There is serious suspicion as to if these people are involved in this Airbus deal. The court must decide on who is guilty and who is not. Today they are washing their hands in front of the media. We saw that it was in this same system where the serial numbers of weapons had got erased after being rubbed against each other. The people who were accused of doing these things are now coming and providing advice on how to shape the country. The system should be changed and these thieves must be punished. We do not want to punish these thieves to gain any happiness out of it.
අපි ඒකෙන් සතුටු වෙන්න නෙමෙයි අපිට එහෙම සිංගිති අපි කියන්නේ අපිට එහෙම සිංගිති ආතල් එකක් අවශ්‍ය නැහැ අපිට අවශ්‍ය කරන්නේ
We only want to punish them for stealing the money of the general public. The people of this country want that. We saw the new king of Dubai. The first thing that he did once he came into power was to capture all the thieves, place them under house arrest and recover the money that they stole. We need that.
අවශ්‍ය කරන්නේ ඒක
Sometimes, because of the delays experienced in courts, these culprits come out of remand custody on bail and speak like they are saints. I think we should work on expediting the judicial process in our country.
Here are some of the views expressed by the Voice Against Corruption at a media briefing held in Anuradhapura today.
Airbus company කාණ්ඩුව මත
The entire Airbus company has fallen on the head of this government. The names of people who robbed from this deal are being revealed daily. The revelation of details regarding this Airbus deal is being delayed on purpose. Why is that? Ranil Wickremesinghe and Kabir Hashim are the first people to intervene in this issue. Ajit Dias, who was Ranil and Kabir's friend, who was the former chairman of Sri Lanka, he started the investigation. Kabir and Ranil intervened and stopped the investigation. Why? Kapil Chandrasena was the person behind all of this. Although Ranil intervened and halted the investigations, the matter was taken up in a European court and the Airbus company had agreed to pay a settlement of $4 billion US. When this happened, the Sri Lankan case on the matter also resurfaced. Now when this file resurfaced in Sri Lanka, they are trying to cover up one other file. What is that? When Suren Ratwatta, the brother of Charita Ratwatta, was the chief executive officer of Sri Lankan, he spent $97 million through an SMS. That is 17 billion rupees. How did Charita Ratwatta and Suren Ratwatta pay $97 million US for the cancellation of this Airbus deal in such a haste? This is the money of the people of this country. They had taken commissions from this deal as well. When one file is resurfacing, the other one goes under, or both packages go under and are covered up. Both Kapila Chandrasena and his wife are behind bars now. They have received details on this. New details have been revealed regarding a company called SL Agro in the Uva province. This company, SL Agro, had been involved in the transactions with the American company Dole, to which 3,000 acres of land was given. 140,000 euros received by Dole were given out in cash checks. One member of the director board of SL Agro comes out and says, I don't know about this, it is my brother who knows about it. But there are delays in bringing that elder brother and recording a statement from him. Why is that? We were able to trace the paper trail when money was transferred first to a Singaporean account, then to an Australian account, and finally transferred to an account in Sri Lanka. But they cannot bring down the man who issued these checks and ask him, who did you issue these checks to? None of this will happen, because when he reveals those names, the case will start afresh. Both of these groups have divided loot, or the same scam.
එකම හොරකම දෙකට බෙදාගෙන කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
These were the views expressed at public meetings organized by the National People's Power Movement yesterday.
හිරේ ඉන්න කවුද? වැලිකියුප් එකක් කපපු වෙනවා. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ
Who has been imprisoned? It is the small-scale sand miner. Who are in parliament? They are the sand racketeers. Who is in prison? A person who has mined small amounts of sand in a village. But who is in parliament? They are the key sand miners. Who is in prison? A person who ran a small-scale distillery. But who are in parliament? Owners of large distilleries. Who is in prison? A person who consumed narcotics. But who is in prison? A person who smuggled narcotics. Who is in prison? A person who defaulted payments to the Samurdhi Bank. Who is in parliament? The person who looted the central bank. The parliament is the institution which has paved the way for crimes and theft. When Ranil's bond scam issue was discussed at COPE meetings, it was the main thief who delivered a speech before the UNP MPs. Who is Arjuna Mahendran? They debate at COPE meetings based on the speech of Arjuna Mahendran. This time there was a debate on Cabral's dealings. Parliamentarians debated over this after listening to a speech given by Cabral. Who are these people? They are not public representatives. They are representatives of thieves.
මේගොල්ලෝ ජනතාවගේ නියුතු නෙවෙයි මංකොල්ලකාරයන්ගේ නියෝජිතයෝ.
Sri Lanka's debt repayment amount for 2020 is 1 trillion. There is no way to pay this. When our Prime Minister and Finance Minister sought a 3-year moratorium from India to repay the loans, other countries began to feel that they shouldn't lend us money. Now there are two problems. First, it is a disgrace. And secondly, it is an obstacle to obtain loans. Recently, they tried to put forward a supplementary estimate before Parliament. That was cancelled. It sought to increase the country's debt ceiling and the government's financial strength. They didn't even bring it forward. To avoid being blamed for this situation, they say that they had planned to grant concessions but that the opposition had opposed it. That story is a lie. They are trying to earn in time for the election.
Minister of Justice, Human Rights and Legal Reforms, Nimal Siripala de Silva, says that a large number of people have been inconvenienced due to the lack of support for the amendment on the vote of account that was withdrawn in Parliament recently.
The people have fallen into debt as a result of programs such as Gam Peraliya. The small rural development groups have been affected and not the large-scale contractors. They are facing hardships. So we brought an amendment to the vote on account in Parliament. In that we propose to pay off debt to contractors and to implement development programs. We did not have a majority in Parliament. The UNP did not support the amendment to the vote on account. They acted according to a petty political agenda and did not consider to relieve the problems of the public. Therefore, we are frustrated over this decision undertaken by the United National Party.
ඉතාම කලකිරීමකට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. අපි අප්‍රේල් මාසේ අද දක්වා
Funds were allocated until the end of April. They are saying that they do not have money. We had allocated funds to development, education, agriculture, the power sector and for fertilizer. If the government needs money, we are ready to fulfill their requirement. However, we will not support moves to increase the debt ceiling of the country.
ණය ගන්න අපි සල්ලි දෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Leader of the National Unity Alliance, Asad Sali, expressed the following views with regard to obtaining loans from India.
They are going to India and saying that the loans cannot be paid for 3 years. Generally, what would a businessman do? If a company is running at a loss, he will not set foot on new projects. Such projects should be halted and new agreements would not be signed until the company rebuilds itself. In a country which is facing severe trouble, what do they try to do? They try to develop airports and attempt to obtain commissions through these projects which cost millions. Special attention has been drawn towards this.
More than 200,000 individuals have been affected due to the ongoing drought in the country. The Kegalle, Ratnapura, Kandy and Kalutara districts have been identified as the areas affected at present.
The Kotmale Reserve, which supplies water to several water bodies, plays a huge contributive role to the generation of hydropower. However, the prevailing dry weather conditions have posed hardships to the people of Kotmale.
වතුර බොන්න ගන්න ඇල හිඳිලා ගියපුවම මේ වගේ වතුර පොඩ්ඩට තමයි අපි හෝස් කෑල්ලක් දාලා කටින් ඇදලා අරගෙන ඒක බටේට සෙට් කරලා තමයි අපි මේ වතුර ටික පුරවගෙන දැන් හෙට අනිත් දවනකොට මේ වතුර පොදක් නැහැ. ඒ වගේ පෞකාර ජීවිතයක් තමයි අපි ගත කරන්නේ. කිසිම කෙනෙක් අපිට අනුකම්පා කරලා වතුර පෙදක් මේත් එක්කෙනකන් දීලා නැහැ.
මේ දැනුත් මම මේ ගිහිල්ලා වතුර පාරක් හොයාගෙන ඒ තියෙන තැන් වලින් සුද්ධ කරලා එන්න. මම යනකොට තව කෙනෙක් යනවා. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ සුද්ධ කරලා එනකොට අපි ගිහිල්ලා ඒගොල්ලොත් එක්ක විරසක වෙනවා. ඒ වගේ ලොකු ප්‍රශ්න වෙනවා.
Residents of Kotmale travel in vehicles to obtain water from the Ranamule area. This is the only water body which has not dried up in the area. Engineers have observed that water levels in the Kotmale reservoir are dropping steadily at present. The water levels have dropped by 54%. This situation is showing signs of aggravating due to fires erupting in forests. To produce hydropower, 0.4 million cubic meters of water is being used.
To ensure the uninterrupted continuous power supply, certain measurements are being taken. So under that, one of the measurement or the initiative taken is to connect temporary power generation capacity for shorter period, that is for 6-month period. So the procurement process has been completed and those generators will be connected to the system in near future. Efficient usage of electricity, select efficient electricity appliances and also minimize or prevent any unnecessary or waste of electricity during the usage of electricity.
Meanwhile, residents of Yatiantota and Magammana have also been affected due to the drought. Residents are left with no alternative apart from consuming contaminated water as the waterways are stagnant. They say that the water is completely unsuitable for consumption.
කොහොම හිඳලා ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ බොන්න වතුර අපිට ඔය කායෙන් හරි පොඩ්ඩක් ඉල්ලගෙන එනවා ඒකත් ඉතින් ඒවත් මේ පෑවිලට හිඳුනොත් එහෙමත් නැතුව යනවා
මාසයක් දෙකක් පායනකොට වතුර නැහැ. ඒ ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳලා දුන්නොත් ඒක තමයි ලොකුම කාර්යයක් වෙන්නේ.
The extension of the Southern Expressway from Godagama Matara to Barawakumbuka Hambantota was declared open today. Bus services along this route will commence from tomorrow. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa declared open the extension of the expressway. The President obtained the first entry ticket from the Pala Tour entry point in Godagama, following which the Prime Minister too followed suit. The newly extended road, which is 56 kilometers long, has 5 entry points. The President and the Prime Minister met with the general public at the interchange in Aparakka. The main event took place near the Barawakumbuka entry point. Several individuals, including ministers, parliamentarians and foreign invitees, attended the event. Bus services along the Southern Expressway from Godagama to Barawakumbuka are set to commence from tomorrow. The bus fare for luxury buses travelling from Hambantota to Colombo is 880 rupees. Bus fares for travelling from Tangol to Colombo have been fixed at 680 rupees, while the fare for Hambantota to Makumbura is 810 rupees. The fare for Tangol to Makumbura is 610 rupees. The Ministry of Passenger Transport said that bus services will commence tomorrow afternoon from the Tangol bus depot. Following the outbreak of the coronavirus, a special plan has been implemented to ensure the safety of Sri Lankans residing in South Korea. The number of deaths reported from South Korea due to the coronavirus has increased up to 5, while the number of affected patients stands at 556.
The US government has issued a travel advisory warning its citizens to avoid traveling to South Korea due to the spread of the virus. The South Korean embassy said that a special plan is in effect to ensure the safety of the Sri Lankans residing in several areas across South Korea.
Today we are in the Kunshu area in South Korea. Even though coronavirus is constantly spreading in South Korea, the area we are in is not under threat. In Daegu there is a lot of coronavirus patients. There is no reason to panic unnecessarily. We will update you all through Newsfirst in the future. Close to 5,000 Sri Lankans are currently in this area. The Sri Lankan embassy have reached Sri Lankans through the phone within 24 hours. We would like to inform everyone to remain calm. and not go to public areas unless for an essential matter. We also would like to advise the public not to use public transportation.
According to foreign media reports, Italy too has undertaken extensive measures to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Several towns have also been on lockdown after 2 deaths were reported in Italy, with the number of affected individuals standing at 79. Foreign media reports added that around 50,000 individuals living in Italian cities have been advised to confine themselves to their homes. As of now, people in Milan are shocked by what has happened, and this situation has affected their day-to-day activities. Milan is a city filled with people. According to an order issued by the Health Ministry, people are remained indoors, and because of that, the streets are empty. The schools have been ordered to close down due to the prevailing situation.
A decision has been made to declare 124 schools in the country as national schools. This decision had been made in line with an assessment report which identified schools which could be upgraded as national schools.
Secretary to the Ministry of Education, NHM Chitrananda, said that the 124 schools were chosen from divisional secretariat areas which did not have national schools. He noted that the necessary development activities to upgrade these schools into national schools will take place in the near future. Following this move, the number of national schools in the country has increased up to 497.
Minister of Justice, Human Rights and Legal Reforms, Nimal Siripala De Silva, addressing a gathering in Mahiyangane, said that he will put forward a bill by next week to re-empower provincial councils.
Our provincial councils are defunct. There is no cabinet. As the Justice Minister, I have tabled a cabinet paper seeking to put forward a bill to empower provincial councils once again. Accordingly, 2 months after the general election, the provincial polls can be held and provincial councils can become active. We can then provide job security through these bodies.
The importation of large stocks of fish has posed problems to local fishermen. Over the last few days, these stocks of fish have been brought to the Dikkovita fisheries harbour.
The government has permitted the importation of fish from countries such as China, Taiwan, Indonesia and Malaysia. These stocks of fish are sold to the market from the Dikkovita fisheries harbour in Wattala.
We showed enthusiasm towards the Dikkovita fisheries harbour when it was constructed. Now the harbour has been divided. When 200 fish are imported, our fishermen have also caught around 150 fish. We are facing great difficulties. These are low quality products. Although these are imported from overseas, they are certified according to Sri Lankan standards. If there is a shortcoming in the product, it is our country which earns a bad name. We are facing a danger of being subject to a ban on fisheries exports by the European Union.
Meanwhile, the former subject minister expressed the following views.
We banned the entry of foreign ships into the country under administration over the last 4.5 years. Once this government came into power, 35 ships have entered the Dikkovita fisheries harbour. The government should be held responsible for this.
Bullying has everyone worried, not just the people on its receiving end. It has also been discussed globally. Now, in light of that, here is a special report by Newsfirst.
Bullying. Most people don't realize how big of a problem it is. Society has trivialized bullying to a point where they think of it as something playful or worst, harmless. But the harm done by bullying is something that lasts for years. And in most cases, most people never recover from it.
Around the world, bullying is big, particularly within schools and cyberspace. According to UNESCO's report, Behind the Numbers, Ending School Violence and Bullying, reveals that nearly 1 in 3 boys and girls have been bullied at least once at school, and a similar proportion have been affected by physical violence. Children who are perceived to be different in any way are more likely to be bullied. International surveys reveal that physical appearance is the most common reason for being bullied, with race, nationality or skin color the second most common reason. Children from poorer families as well as migrant children also appear to be more vulnerable to bullying and cyberbullying. There are many different types of bullying that can be experienced by children and adults alike. Some are obvious to spot, while others can be more subtle.
When someone is bullied, it significantly changes them. It gnaws at their confidence. This could lead to them developing insecurities, anxiety, and even depression. In the long run, this could even lead to them taking their own lives.
Those who are bullied are at an increased risk for mental health problems, headaches, and problems adjusting to school. Bullying can also cause long-term damage to self-esteem. A recent video which went viral on social media, which shows a mother claiming her 9-year-old son being bullied for dwarfism, has drawn international attention.
This is what bullying does. So can you please educate your children, your families, your friends? Because all it takes is for one more instant and you wonder why kids are killing themselves. This is the effect of bullying. This is what it's doing. And I want people to know how much it is hurting us as a family. I want people to educate their children.
Bullying is very common in Sri Lanka. It happens in schools, at tuition classes, on the playground, and even at workplaces. The mental health impact of bullying is that it creates nervous, shy, backward individuals lacking in confidence, individuals who lack initiative and who are very negative about life. It's very important from a very young age to teach children the need to love and to give and to be kind and gentle.
All children and young people have the right to safe, inclusive, and effective learning environments. When someone is cruel or acts like a bully, you don't stoop to their level. No, our motto is, when they go low, we go high.
Bullying is wrong. It's never okay. To bully is to steal someone's happiness. This issue has been costing lives. It's time we make a difference. It's time that we stand against bullying. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, be the change you want to see in the world.
Moving on with more local news now, the 43rd sessions of the United National Human Rights Council will begin in Geneva, Switzerland tomorrow. The UNHRC session will continue until the 20th of March. Matters concerning Sri Lanka will be discussed on the 26th of this month. Now, former permanent representative of Sri Lanka to the United Nations, Dr. Palitha Kohana, expressed these views.
It has been reported that the government has decided to withdraw from Resolution 30/1. It will be clear that the government will advise the Council and the High Commissioner that we do not intend to comply with the provisions. There are two key reasons for this. Some of these provisions are not consistent with our own constitution. As to why the government of the day or the foreign minister of the day decided to co-sponsor this resolution defies reasoning. Furthermore, it is also clear that the vast majority of the people of this country do not wish to see compliance with some of those provisions of the resolution. In the circumstances, I believe that it is not for anyone outside to tell us how we should comply with our human rights obligations. This is something for us to do. It is our responsibility to protect and advance human rights standards in this country.
Now, in some tragic news from here at home, 4 people have been killed and 20 injured in a motor accident which took place in Omante, Vaunia, involving a bus and a van. Now, the bus has caught fire following the accident. Police have commenced investigations into the accident as well as a separate investigation into the bus catching fire following the accident. Now, stay tuned to News First as we bring you a detailed report of this story. Moving on to more local news, a major allegation has been leveled citing that an exclusive group of people are being allowed to engage in sand mining rackets and transporting sand in the Mahaveli River under political affiliations. You can view that story on our award-winning website www.newsfirst.lk, and that's a wrap of Weekend Primetime News on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Jamal Ratnayaka. Take care and good night.